Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I have a yoga mat. If you don't have one, find someplace in your house that's got some carpeting, or maybe you've got a nice sturdy rug somewhere, not one that's going to slip out from underneath you. I want you to stay away from surfaces that are slick or hard. You might even choose to keep your shoes on. I've got 2 yoga blocks. A very good substitute for that would be 2 thick books. And I've got a folded blanket, which is the throw blanket from my couch. You could use that, or a beach towel, or a nice thick bath towel. And once we have those things, we will start in what's called child's pose. And I want us to really enjoy taking agency in this practice and in this pose. Child's pose, for some of us, will look like hips sinking into heels. Maybe you've heard it instructed that way before. But for many of us, that kind of bend to our knees, that kind of a flexion in our knees is just not going to work. There's no shame in that. You can use your folded blanket and put it underneath your knees. You can curl your toes under. Both those things might start to help a bit. And then I find that putting a block out in front for your forehead to aim at with your arms in front of you gives you the ability to find the sweet spot. Not a place that gives you pain in your knee, or sometimes in our low back, or wherever else. You're the expert of this beautiful body of yours. And then you'll start to think of sinking your hips towards your heels, but it doesn't ever really need to happen that much. Some of us, that will be the case. You'll be on the tops of your feet. But that doesn't mean anybody whose hips are on their heels is better at yoga. We get good at yoga when we are able to meet ourselves where we are and do this practice consistently. Let's take a moment to turn inward. And as we do, we will use our breath as a great tool to get there. Every inhale and every exhale, see if you can pay a little bit more attention. And it's possible you can inhale and exhale through your nose. If that's not happening, just like hips on heels, it doesn't mean you're bad at yoga or doing anything wrong. All I want is the awareness. The awareness is the yoga. From here, slither out onto your belly. And once you're on your belly, let's construct a sphinx pose. So take your arms, your forearms, parallel to the long edges of your mat. And then press into the tops of your feet so we feel our legs get activated. Press into your forearms so we're not a collapse into the shoulders. We are actually using musculature there as well. And then just traction your elbows towards you so there's a feeling of your shoulder blades gliding towards each other, a heart-opening feeling to this, and our collarbones getting wide. Check and see that your chin is parallel to the ground. Often we try to throw our chin forward. Again, not because we're bad at yoga or bad people. It's just that that's making us feel like we're doing more of a back bend. But in truth, our neck is already doing a back bend. So we want to encourage the shoulder blade area of our spine to be the heart-opening part of our back bend. Lower down, slide your hands next to your ribs. And instead of winging your elbows out to the side, glide them almost aerodynamically next to you. In fact, let's try that for a moment. Wing your elbows out to the side and notice how that's collapsing your chest in. Maybe something similar to when you're seated at the computer or in front of a steering wheel. I know, me too. So let's bring our elbows alongside us. We got to check once again on our chin because it's going to have other ideas. It's going to try to do the back bend for us, but we are inviting our shoulder blade area of our spine into this back bend party. Press into the tops of your feet, let your kneecaps lift. And you can traction your hands a little bit. I'm going to ask you to do something here with your legs activated without throwing our chin forward. Can you hover your hands off your mat? It's a lot of work in our back body, right? We want those back muscles strong to stand tall. Not just when we're doing yoga, but all the time. Place your hands down, curl your toes under. In one piece, with our elbows next to our ribs and our core intact, we'll come onto all fours. Once we're on all fours, let's double check. We're still not collapsed into our shoulders. So push the ground away actively. Now, actually, your shoulder blades are sliding away from each other. Whereas when we were doing Sphinx and when we're doing some back bends, we want them to glide towards each other. We want them to be what's called in protraction here. So you're pushing the ground away actively. And I'd like you to keep that happening as we curl our toes under. Let's actually do this first. So tuck your tailbone under. And then tilt your tailbone towards the sky. Twice more. Tuck your tailbone under, still active in your arms. And then tilt your tailbone to the sky. One more time. Tuck that tailbone under. And then tilt it to the sky. Keep tilting it to the sky. Keep pressing into your arms. And then as if there's a hook in your tailbone, lift your hips up and back. Let's step our feet as wide as our mat. Bend our knees deeply. Push with even more oomph into our arms and feel back body, like we just felt in that hovering cobra pose, side body and front body get long, all at the same time. That's our priority. If ever you straighten your legs or sink your heels down, I don't want that to end up being a rounded spine. So the priority is to keep our torso long. Walk your feet forward to your hands. We're at the front edge of our mat with our feet hip distance and parallel. Glide your hands up your thighs, or up your shins anyway. Lift your heart, inhale. And then hinge as we exhale. We rise, reach, inhale, arms to the sky, thumbs to the sky, and then we'll pause with our palms facing out. Take your arms forward like you're going to give someone a hug. Make a big circle and relocate your arms along your sides, but as if you transported our Sphinx pose into a standing pose. So it's happening from our shoulder joint. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs, or maybe your shins or your ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, lengthen your spine. And then as we slide our hands down, bend your knees deeply. Make sure that your palms go completely flat on your mat. Walk back with that hook in your tailbone to down dog. You can keep your feet as wide as your mat or bring them hip distance, but let's really oomph into our arms. Lift our sit bones a lot. And then shift it plank position, shoulders over wrists. Remember how we were oomping and not collapsing? Bring your knees down. That's a little further back in space than when we were tucking our tailbone. And really add core work here. Our elbows brush our ribs as we add that core work to a little movement, and we lower all the way to that very firm belly. Uncurl your toes, press the tops of your feet down. Cobra pose, but you can make it Sphinx pose with your forearms down if you prefer it. Lower down, curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then let the hook in your tailbone take you to down dog. Our hips are up and back. From down dog, walk your feet forward to your hands, hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up, inhale. Glide your hands down, exhale. Inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, a V shape, and then we pause with our arms along our sides. We'll keep adding some friends to our flow. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs, shins, or ankles. Glide your hands up and inhale, bend your knees, palms go flat, step it to down dog. That hook in your tailbone and pressing the ground away are essential. Lift your right leg back behind you and then step that right foot forward, and for a lot of us that means grab the back of your hamstring and help it forward. Take your two books or blocks and place them on either side of your mat. And let's heel toe our right foot over to the right so we don't feel like we're balancing on a tightrope. Bend your back knee, your left knee, and come upright into a crescent pose with your arms wide out to the side and your thumbs to the sky. Turn your thumbs to face down and either do a fist bump behind your back or maybe build a prayer behind your back, but be careful because that jutting chin, all those habits we found on our belly, they're probably going to pop up here. So don't be in a rush to get the palms of your hands together. Let's smile our collarbones and remember our active back bend on our belly not so long ago. and just add it, stir it in to a lunge. You might, during our stay, straighten that back leg a little bit, but I find that throws me into my chin activity, and that's not really what we want right here. Free your arms wide out to the side. V-shape, thumbs to the sky. And then bring your hands, maybe by way of your blocks, to your mat, and we step to down dog. In down dog, you can always choose to bring your knees down and do your version of child's pose. Or come with me into plank position, shoulders over wrists. Bring your knees to your mat, and then we'll lower all the way down onto our belly. Uncurl your toes, come into a cobra pose. Remember, elbows are snug next to us, so we're not shrugging our shoulders and our ears. Lower down, curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then our hips lift us up and back into our down dog. Lift your left leg back behind you. Step that left foot forward. Feel free to help it along. And then we'll trot our 2 blocks into the mix and walk our left foot over to the left so there's a nice wide stance for us to work with. Then come upright. Bending that back knee is probably really helpful. Arms wide out to the side, thumbs to the sky. And then we will turn our thumbs to face down and maybe fist bump behind our back, or start to work it towards a prayer behind our back. And we want to make sure that this isn't just us collapsing. Remember when we were on our belly and I said, hey, try winging your elbows out to the side, and that didn't work so well? Think aerodynamic with your elbows as best you can in this situation. And here we are in a heart lifting, heart opening lunge. 3 moments. Take your arms wide out to the side, thumbs to the sky, maybe even V-shape overhead. And then we take our hands, perhaps by way of our blocks, onto our mat for down dog. And from down dog, walk your feet forward to your hands. We arrive hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up and inhale, glide your hands down and exhale. We inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, V, arms along your sides, hands facing out. We will step wide out to the side, but let's take some proppage with us. So take your block that is located in what's going to become the front edge of your mat and move it so that you have one on either side of you, behind you and off your mat, as we step wide and take our arms wide out to the side, thumbs to the sky. If you aim your ankles underneath your wrists, that's going to be a great starting place for us as we find the alignment for a warrior 2 here. Turn your right leg out. So your right foot is facing that short edge of your mat, and cheat your left heel back at a 45-degree angle. When we bend our front knee, we want to make sure that there is a straight line from our right knee to our right ankle. Let's straighten our front leg and V-shape our arms overhead for a moment. And then once again, bend that front knee, arms wide out to the side. Turn your thumbs to face down, fist bump behind your back here in Warrior 2, or maybe it becomes a prayer, but remember, we're not in a fight to try to get the prayer behind our back. We want this to actually be encouraging of our shoulder blades gliding towards each other and a little smile to our collarbones. Arms wide out to the side again. Lower your arms and straighten that front leg for a moment. Take your arms wide. And then hinge at your right hip. So we take a hinge, that's not a side bend, and reach way out with your right arm. See if you can find your block on the outside of that right foot. Turn your left thumb to face down and bring the back of your left hand to the small of your back. Maybe even weave that left arm so it feels like it's doing a karate chop with your right leg. So it would be left hand and right hip crease. Spin inner upper arms away from each other. Think of our aerodynamic elbows and that spaciousness in our belly back bend, and fold that in here. 3 moments in what is called a half bound triangle. keep your arms the same way, but begin to bend your right knee. And likely you need to scoot that left foot back a little bit so we keep our vertical line. It's a little bit longer stance once we bend our knee for most of us. Just a couple of moments here in half bound side angle. Now take a look down at your right foot. Free that left arm up to the sky. Move your prop out of the way and come to warrior two for a moment, then straighten that front leg, lower your arms, and turn all of your toes to face the long edge of your mat. Turn your left leg out so that left foot is facing the short edge of your mat, and cheat your right heel back. Bend your front knee. We want to make sure that we've got that vertical line, left knee, left ankle. Thumbs face down, and we make a fist bump or a prayer behind our back here now in a warrior two on our second side. We're thinking, although not obsessing, about that habit of jutting our chin. We're trying not to. We want to find a little of the aerodynamic elbow situation. And then we will free our arms wide out to the side, straighten our front leg, and lower our arms for a sec. Arms wide, it's a hinge at our left hip. We reach way out. And then we'll take our hand likely onto our book or block. Left hand down, right arm up. And then turn your right thumb to face down and back of the right hand to the small of your back. Or we weave that right hand into the crux of our hip here, pausing and breathing. Your arms stay essentially the same, but we re-bend our left knee. Our left hip is hugging underneath us. You can always straighten and re-bend. Pay attention to that right leg. Outer edge is solid. We're not collapsed into that arch. And our right thigh bone is pressing as if it could into our hamstring. 3 moments here. Free your right arm to the sky, look down and move your prop off the side of your mat as you come to a warrior two, and then we straighten our front leg, lower our arms, turn all toes to face the long edge of our mat, and then heel toe, heel toe. We are hip distance and able to relocate with the short front edge becoming the front of our mat once again. So take that block that you moved for our wide poses and place it on the other side of your mat. So now facing this short edge with our feet hip distance and parallel, turn your palms to face out. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale. Palms go flat, we step back to down dog. Once we're in down dog, lift your right leg back behind you. Step it forward, help it along if you would like. Bring your blocks into the mix, and up we come into crescent pose with our arms wide again. This time the prayer is in front of our chest, and we turn to the right. Hinging at our hip, hook your left elbow on the outside of your right thigh. Maybe you prefer to do this with your back knee down. All good. 3 twisting, heart opening moments. Unwind your hands to your blocks. Carefully straighten that right leg and turn your left foot, back foot, flat on its side. I like to walk my right foot even further to the right. And then I'm just trying to straighten my front leg. It doesn't mean it's going to happen today. And what I make certain of, and I'd like you to make certain of, is that we're not rounding to try to get that leg straight. Our priority is space, so you could come up onto your fingertips. You might use something even taller than your 2 blocks. There is zero shame in excavating some space here. 3 moments in a stretch. We keep our left hand on our block, spin from our waist, open to the right. Try not to let your right hip go with you. Hug that right hip underneath you, and then think inner upper arm spinning away from each other. Aerodynamic, so we're not letting them shrug our shoulders into our ears. It doesn't have to become a corkscrew. In fact, it's not going to. We're looking for expanse. And then we'll stay here, looking for expanse together. Unwind. Spin on your back toes and bend your right knee. Move your blocks off to the side, palms flat, down dog. Stay in down dog, maybe even bring your knees down onto your mat for child's pose, or come to plank with your shoulders over your wrists. Bring your knees to your mat, carefully lower all the way to your belly. Once you're on your belly, uncurl your toes into a cobra pose. Here in cobra pose, wait for a moment. Lift your hands off your mat. Remember that back body posterior chain. Let's feel that strength for just a moment or two. And then return your hands next to your ribs. Curl your toes under in one chunk. We come to all fours. The hook in our tailbone takes us to down dog. Lift your left leg behind you. Step it through and help it along and trot your blocks into the mix. You can heel toe that left foot over to the left a little bit. Bring yourself upright, arms wide out to the side. A prayer in front of our heart. This time we turn to the left. We hinge and our right elbow sees if it can find the outside of our left thigh, twisting for just a couple moments here. Unwind, bring your hands to your blocks. Slow motion, straighten your left leg and turn your right foot flat. We're making our way into pyramid. You might want to walk your left foot over to the left a little bit. Give yourself some more space. This is where I said the goal, if there is one, is to create space. So if the blocks feel like they're rounding you or limiting your space, create some space with more props, more books underneath, more blocks underneath. It's all good. A couple moments of stretch. And now right hand remains on your block. Left arm spins open. Our left hip's going to try to go with it, but we're going to ask it to hug a little bit towards the right. And our twist is at our waist. We're still inviting the shoulder blade area of our body to a twist which actually has a design very similar to a back bend. And then unwind, left hand onto your block, bend your left knees, you spin on your back toes, move your blocks out of the way, step into downward facing dog. From down dog, come into plank, bring your knees to your mat, and lower all the way onto your belly. Now this time on our bellies, bend your knees so your feet look like they're going into the sky. Reach back with your arms and don't hold on. This is a lot of that back body that we found in our cobra pose when we lifted our arms, our hands off our mat. You could return to that if that feels better for your back. Keep reaching back behind you without holding on, and consider the possibility of lifting your thighs off your mat. That could be short-lived because it's very intense. Just do your best. We'll lower down, make a pillow with our hands, and windshield wiper our legs back and forth. And then roll over and lie down on your back. Once you're lying on your back, bend your knees, place your feet hip distance on your mat, and shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you. Let your feet be hip distance and parallel. Lift your hips up, interlace, snuggle those shoulder blades underneath you. Voila, a bridge pose. And then gently lower down. Place a hand on your heart and a hand on your low belly. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Maybe you reach your right hand through the space and you hold on that way. It might be enough stretch just keeping your foot on the ground or putting your left foot on a block. The other thing is you might appreciate a block or your folded blanket underneath your head. So if you're doing what I'm doing this to look at you, but you're struggling, prop yourself up. Take the struggle out of it. You'll leave the stretch and you'll add an element of self-care. We have a full minute here. Gently put both feet on your mat, and now it's left ankle on top of right thigh. Maybe one side needs a slightly different design. That's okay. And then we'll settle back in and we'll have a full minute of silence stretching on this side. Now from here, release, move any props you might have moved, put your feet as wide as your mat, let your knees knock knee on one another, lie your head back, shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you, so you actually feel them against the ground coming towards one another. Lift your hips just an inch, so not like we did with our bridge, a little bit less. And then lower your hips to your mat. You could stay just like this, or straighten one leg and then the other, into our Shavasana final meditation. Close your eyes, cover your eyes if you're comfortable with that. You're welcome to stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you would like. If you're ready, give yourself a stretch. Collect your knees into your chest. Roll carefully to either side. You have to be careful for very cute reasons. And then bring yourself up to any comfortable way to sit. Maybe that is cross-legged, maybe that's on your folded blanket or on your blocks. Let's place our hands on our very open heart and see if we can't wear this open heart, not just physically standing tall out into the world, but also the smile, the open heart that it has left us with that runs a little bit deeper than just skin deep. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.